Grey County.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Attack Wrap here on Rogers TV. Zach Scribner and Adrien Mousseau joined by the netminders for the Ohl Sound Attack, Corbin, Votary, and Nick Chenard. And we want to start out the show tonight by saying a happy birthday to Teus Jordan and Nicholas Chenard, 20 years old. Nick, bonne fête.
Merci. Thanks.
That's as much French as I know. Now, how are you guys feeling down to the last stretch here before playoffs get going? How are you guys feeling about your chances down the stretch and in the first round especially?
I think we've got a really good dynamic team. Just from how we've been playing these last close to 20 games of the season, have been a group that they've been fun to watch from the net. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to our first couple rounds of playoffs and seeing how far in we get.
Yeah, I think our team has a lot of confidence right now. It's definitely good to see. Ever since we started that playoff series, we've just been clicking from there. So really excited for playoffs. So.
Well, that's one of our questions. We'll get to that later, though. Let's start out with some news around the league. Starting with the OHL Player of the Week, Dalton Duhart earns the honors of OHL Player of the Week. He had 6 goals and 4 assists for a total of 10 points in 3 games. Duhart helped the Spirit win 2 of 3 last week, recording his 100th career point in the process. He scored twice and added an assist in an 8-5 road loss against Windsor on last Thursday. Duhart turned in a career-best 6-point performance in Sarnia on Friday, helping the Spirit complete a remarkable comeback with 4 goals in the final 3 minutes and 11 seconds of regulation to overcome an 8-4 deficit. He ended up scoring 3 third-period goals and the overtime winner with 10 seconds remaining in overtime. The Spirit defeated the Sting 9-8 that game. Duhart's the first Spirit player to earn OHL Player of the Week honor since Cole Perfetti in February of 2020. Joey Costanzo of the Niagara Ice Dogs is the OHL Goalie of the Week. He posted a goals against average of 1 and a .973 save percentage, backstopping the Ice Dogs to wins over Peterborough and Erie. Lorenzo Bonaiuto is the Ohl Sound Attack Huron Tractor Player of the Week. Bonaiuto contributed 2 goals and 2 assists during the Attack's 3-game sweep of the Sarnia Sting during the week. Last Tuesday, he had the game-winning goal. He followed that up with an assist on the game-tying goal Saturday night at the Bayshore, and then he netted a goal and a helper Sunday afternoon as the Attack completed the 3-game sweep of the Sting with his 4 points. Bonaiuto has 9 points now on the season. Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings. The Windsor Spitfires are first in the conference. They are currently on a 7-game winning streak. They have 82 points. The London Knights look like they're going to win the Midwest Division. They are second with 78 points. Flint is third with 77 points, 4 ahead of the Sioux Greyhounds, who are in action tonight against the Saginaw Spirit. We'll make sure to update you on the score throughout the show. That's a big one for Ohl Sound. The Attack are 5th in the conference, 4 points behind the Greyhounds. After tonight, the Sioux will only have 1 game in hand on Ohl Sound. Guelph has fallen to 6th in the conference, 4 points behind the Attack, despite having 3 games in hand on Ohl Sound, making it a crucial game Friday at the Sleeman Center. There's a bit of a drop-off beginning at that 7th seed there. It's a close race for the final 2 playoff spots. Kitchener is 7th with 58 points, 3 ahead of the Sarnia Sting, who hold the final playoff spot. Erie is 9th with 52 points, only 3 points behind the Sting, and the Saginaw Spirit remain last with 41 points. To the Eastern Conference, the Hamilton Bulldogs are first with 89 points, and they have 2 games in hand on North Bay, who are second in the conference with 80 points. Looks like the Bulldogs are going to finish first in that conference. Kingston and Mississauga are tied for third with 77 points, but Kingston has 4 games on hand on the Steelheads. The Barrie Colts are fifth with 68 points. They'll be a team you don't want to go up against in the first round. They recently got Tyson Forrester back from the AHL. In 6th are the Oshawa Generals, 3 points ahead of the 7th place Ottawa 67s. Peterborough currently holds the last playoff spot. They're 3 points ahead of Sudbury. And in 10th place, the Niagara Ice Dogs with 44 points. Let's now take a look at the OHL scoring race. Since the last episode of Attack Wrap, Three players around the league have eclipsed the 100-point mark. Wyatt Johnston hit the plateau in fashion, scoring a hat trick. He leads the league in scoring with 112 points now. Behind him is Rory Cairns of the Sioux Greyhounds. The Flames prospect has 101 points this year. Just behind him is Luke Evangelista. His 50th goal this season, Sunday against Guelph, was his 100th point this year. Lucas Edmonds of the Kingston Frontenacs is on the verge of 100. He has 99 on the season. Fifth in league scoring is Brandon Coe with 91 points. That's 4 ahead of Hamilton Bulldogs forward Logan Morrison. Brendan Othman of the Flint Firebirds is 7th in league scoring with 86 points. Jordan Frasca and Mitch Ressler are tied for 8th with 83 points. And 10th in league scoring is a name I don't think I've mentioned once in the top 10 of OHL scoring race this year. It's Shane Wright of the Kingston Frontenacs with 81 points. The projected first overall pick in this year's NHL draft is on a 6-game point streak, scoring 10 points over that stretch. Next, let's take a look at the top 10 in scoring for the Owen Sound attack. Danny Gore has led the team in scoring for the majority of the season. He's tops with 57 points. Although Cedric Gaindon is starting to catch up, he's just 3 points behind Gore. Gaindon has 18 points in the month of March for the attack. In third is Cedric's line mate, Servac Petrovsky. He's hit the 50-point plateau in his first OHL season. Fourth in team scoring is Ethan Burrows with 47 points. That's 4 points ahead of Colby Barlow. He has 43 on the year. Barlow is after another 16-year-old record in franchise history. Attack assistant coach and assistant GM Joey Hishin holds the record of 47 points in his 16-year-old season. Like I mentioned, Barlow just 4 points shy of tying that record. Nick Porco is 6th in team scoring with 39 points. He just hit the 20-goal mark at Budweiser Gardens this past weekend. Stefan Makachek is 7th with 38 points, 2 ahead of Sam Sedley. He was out of the lineup Sunday in Sarnia. Gavin Bryant is 9th with 33 points, and Logan Lesage rounds out the top 10 with 25.
To the CHL Team of the Week, the aforementioned Dalton Duhart starts up front alongside Sherbrooke Phoenix overage center Xavier Parent, who impressed with 8 points, counting 6 goals and 2 assists coming in a trio of appearances. Rounding out the forward group is Pittsburgh Penguins prospect Lukas Svechkovsky of the Seattle Thunderbirds, who through 3 contests registered 5 goals and 3 assists for 8 points. On the blue line is Saginaw Spirit's 2002-born defenseman Mitchell Smith, led the way with 7 points, counting 3 goals and 4 assists coming in 3 appearances. Also on the back end is the Acadie Bathurst Titan blue liner Michael Tourigny, who continued with his impressive play this season in collecting 2 goals and 4 assists and 6 points in 3 games. And between the pipes is Niagara Ice Ducks 16-year-old goaltender Joey Costanza.
Just before we begin the show, for those interested in watching the next wave of OHL talent, the OHL Cup is currently underway with the wildcard games being in progress right now. It's the last chance for the kids in their draft year to impress OHL scouts on the biggest stage throughout the week. The round-robin games commence tomorrow, and here on Rogers TV Owen Sound is where you can watch the OHL Cup final Monday evening. The OHL draft is scheduled for the last weekend in April. Just a few teams to watch out for: the Mississauga Senators, the Toronto Junior Canadiens, and the Toronto Marlies. It'll be a good week of U16 hockey, and you can buy the package for just under $30 on the OHL website.
Now, guys, before we get to talking to you, I want you guys to talk a little bit about a couple of teammates. First, starting with Lorenzo Bonaiuto, who won Huron Tractor Player of the Week this week. He had 2 goals and 2 assists, like Zach mentioned, over the week. And he came back from a pretty gruesome injury and is now finding himself spot in the lineup. How nice is it to see Lorenzo being successful finally this season?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Having another player like that shows, a physical side as well as, the ability to put some points up on the board for us. So having another guy like that going into the playoffs is going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Lorenzo had a tough situation with his injuries, but I think he brings a big physical presence to the game. But it's good to see him have success here.
Now you guys have up front the first round line: Barlow, Gaindon, and Petrovsky. They've been lethal as of late. You have the veteran line: Burrow, Score, and Porco, who are a threat with their speed and skill. And then you have what we've deemed the grind line of Lesage, Bryan, and Stepan Makachek. And now Portocalis, Bonaiuto, and Chafe scoring big goals as of late. Guys, it must be nice to be in the blue paint, knowing that one of those lines is bound to go off at least once or twice in each of these final 8 remaining games.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is we have so much depth on our team, and as of late we've been scoring from all four of our lines. So knowing that, at any point, like you said, a line can go off and they can catch fire, is definitely something that's exciting for not only this year's playoff run, but next season, because everyone is still so young. At least I think everyone on those lines is eligible to come back next year. So I think it'll be an exciting team for this playoff run and next year.
Yeah, I have to agree with Nick. Having each line producing points is really good. For me, it gives me a lot of confidence knowing that they're going to put the puck in the net. But it's great to see.
Yeah, like you said, Nick, other than Nick Porco, everybody can potentially be back in the lineup next year, showing how much of a threat you guys could be come next season, let alone this season come playoff time. Now, guys, I asked you guys to bring your mask because you guys have both been donning new masks as of late. Corbin, your eye-popping red mask finally completes your full makeup set, and Nick, your slick gray helmet mixes the old school with the new school. If you guys could show off your helmet and tell the viewers what's on your mask, that would be greatly appreciated. So we'll start with you, Corbin, your nice red mask. If you want to show the left side, the right side, and the back, and the top.
Yeah.
Just explain to the viewers what you have on your mask and what was the process like. This is the first time that you had the OHL mask process.
Yeah, so obviously I had a white helmet for a lot of the season so far, but when this came in, I went with a simple bold design. It sort of matches my my pad setup I have now, so it looks pretty good. But basically I just kept it simple. I put the attack logos on each side. But what's really unique, I find a lot of goalies don't really do this, is just the 30 on top. So I kind of like that and just went with my nickname on the bottom. So votes.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you have anything on the back?
It's actually not finished right now. Usually I'll have the Netherlands coat of arms on here. So I'll get that done soon with the Canadian and Dutch flag.
Very cool. And Nick, do you want to show yours off there?
Yeah. So I kind of a little bit copied on what I had last year, just with the Owen sound and the 31 up front. I kept it pretty simple, just going with the attack logo and my nickname Ricky here on the bottom. Now that everyone knows that's my nickname, so no point keeping that a secret anymore. And then on this side, I went with the Ohl Player's logo in the background. And then I guess just like a little fun idea I had was to throw the Looney Tunes squad on my helmet. I don't know if you guys can really see it, but they're wearing the Ohl Players jerseys as their basketball jerseys. So that was something pretty unique, I thought, to have on my mask. And just on the back, it's a brick wall with a couple special initials and stuff that I guess people that have, helped me throughout my career playing hockey. And I don't have anything on top, but it's just a great top.
That's very cool. So we see that you have Ricky on your mask. Do you know where that nickname came from?
It was honestly just such a, I guess like a out of the blue nickname. I think a couple guys heard Rick instead of Nick, and they just kind of took it and ran with it. And it's just transformed into Ricky, and I guess that's what everyone knows me as now. So
now, Nick, what was the process like? It's your second time designing a mask. You kept some aspects of the old and made some additions and subtractions, maybe even some thoughts you had behind your decision of creating your mask this year.
I think honestly, I just wanted to keep it pretty simple, because we knew they weren't going to get painted, where they can add, a little bit more, a couple more layers and that kind of stuff. So just keeping it simple. So I think honestly, just with, the Owen sound up front, and I took the Windsor Detroit skyline off of because they used to have that coming around in here, I think is the biggest, like, when you look at it, change. And then over on the other side, last year I just had Taz on this side. So I think that is really the big differences. But other than that, honestly, for me now, like, I know kind of what I want on my mask and like kind of, what I think looks good and what other people think looks good. So I guess I just kind of base it off of that and try to keep it pretty simple.
A question for the both of you. How long does all this take in designing a mask? How many people are you having with you? Maybe throw out some ideas. What's the process like for a time of length for the time you start of thinking about a design of the mask and now you finally have it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. I don't think it takes too long. There's a bit of thought into it, but I got to give some credit to my dad because he's always helping me with those designs and stuff. But he gave me some ideas. There's a previous mask with Ohl Sound that actually had this sort of look to it. It was on one side and it kind of starts in the eyebrow and works its way up. So it's just the angle of the Ohl Sound logo that I was kind of after. So I kind of stole that. But other than that, doesn't take too long.
Yeah, and I think it's similar for me. Like, I know we, you sit down with, a graphic designer or whatever you want to call it, like on a random night after practice or something, and they'll kind of sketch out some ideas, or you'll give them your ideas and that sort of thing. And then honestly, I want to say like a couple of days after that, you'll get some ideas or some templates of what the mask could look like. And then from there, it's got to get sent into the league for approval. And then after that, really, it's just sending them the mask, whether it's a wrap or a paint job. And then, whether it's a couple days or maybe a week to get it back. And then after that, it's all yours. So I'd say it's probably around like 3 to 4 weeks to get the whole process figured out and finalized.
Now, you said that the mask had to be cleared by the OHL. Was it a difficult process, or was it pretty smooth sailings because your guys' masks are pretty clean and relatively normal?
Yeah, I think that's the thing is, so I know some guys have like some pretty, I guess I don't want to say violent stuff, but some pretty like out there stuff that I'm going to assume the league definitely raised some eyebrows on. But I don't think having, like logos or little cartoon characters is something that the OHL would have any red flags about. So for me, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I had no issues as well. I mean, again, it's relatively simple. I don't think the league's going to have any issues with, some letters and logos.
Now, the masks, like you mentioned, Nick, they're not painted, but it's a wrap and it's supposed to be more durable. I hope you guys aren't taking too many shots off the head, but have you noticed a difference in the durability of these wraps so far in the times that you guys have had it?
Honestly, not really. Like, just looking at it, there's a couple on the side here. I don't even know if you guys can really see it, but it's right there. And there's no, I guess, like wear in the wrap. There's one on top here that took a little chunk out of the wrap, but that's about it, honestly. So I think that's just, I guess it just comes with, whether it's painted or a wrap, you're going to take a couple chips out of it. So.
Yeah. I got mine as of late, like pretty recent, but I can't recall too many hard shots coming off the head, but it's holding up pretty good. The guys here in Ohl Sound did a good job.
Final question before we go into last Tuesday's highlights. How long do you guys plan on keeping this style of mask even going into next year? And then after that, have you guys been thinking of what you want to put on next year's mask if you ever want to change up the design?
Honestly, I haven't thought too much about a future design. Considering we just got these ones pretty recently. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens next year.
Yeah, I don't think I'll change it too much. Like, even throughout minor hockey, I've had pretty simple, bold masks, so I'll probably just stick with that for next year.
Like I mentioned, it was a busy week for Ohl Sound last week. Let's throw it to last Tuesday's highlights against the Sarnia Sting.
Deadly backdoor. That was the intended target, but it got picked off by McDonald. Another steal, though. This time it's the attack taking it right back. Out in front, one-timer Burrows, and he didn't miss by much. Voigt, crafty player now as he gets moving the feet up towards the blue line across. One-timer fired, save from Chenard. He will trap that pass, trying to get a puck through. There's a backhand blocker save made by Chenard. And the attack have to get back. McDonnell driving in, fires the shot. Chenard made the save. Wainwright delays as he looks across, finds Dan. One-timer sent wide. Here's a shot for Wainwright, and from a sharp angle he missed. On Denny Gore. Gore holds, waits, lets a shot go, save, rebound, scores! One-timer Porco, healed it, side of the net, Burrows in front, he scores! Up the boards, Gore sprung on the breakaway. Here's Denny Gore coming in, he scores! Long, Burke gets it across, McDonnell back to Burks, then he'll be denied. What a save by Chenard! And there goes Gaudreau to the bench. Pass into the slot, Petrovsky steals. Petrovsky looking for the empty net, he scores! Nemestikov wins the battle. Out in front, a shot, another save for Nick Chenard. Into his crease again, and he will smother it. And Chibrikov rushes ahead, sends it over to Gaindon. Gaindon has a chance at the empty net, he'll score! It's for McDonald, lets it go, it's blocked in front, there's the horn! The Owen Sound attack with 5 goals in the third, defeat the Sarnia Sting 5-0.
There we go. The Owen Sound attack extend their point streak to 13 games in a 5-0 victory against the Sarnia Sting. Nick, you recorded your 3rd shutout of the season, now tied for 4th in a single season record in franchise history. What I noticed in the final 2 minutes, the guys were putting their body on the line. What does that mean personally to you when it's a 5-0 game and guys are throwing their bodies on the line, trying to keep that 0 on the board?
It means a lot. It's, a shutout definitely isn't just a representation of how I played, but also how well the team played. And I think that's one thing that I've been lucky with this year is that when there is that 0 on the board, the boys know it's up there and they kind of rally behind that and just close out that last 10 minutes or 5 minutes with a solid effort, blocking a bunch of shots or just clearing pucks.
2 shutouts versus Sarnia this year. To their credit, they have a lot of good forwards up front as well. What's been your personal key to success shutting down the Sting?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't do anything different when we're playing Sarnia. I think it being my old coach gives me a little incentive to play a little bit better. But other than that, there's not much that changes. From a game to game, whether it's Sarnia or Guelph or Windsor, whoever it is. So I think honestly it's just been the luck of the draw with me playing against Sarnia.
Now, Corbin, it was a 0-0 game going into the third period. If to me, watching from the side there, it looked like it was like a chess match. Nobody really wanted to make the wrong move at the wrong time. Did it feel the same way from your end?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like when it's a 0-0 game, it definitely is a chess match. Like you don't want to be the team, to make any mistakes. Is the minute you do, the other team's gonna, go out and score pretty much. So yeah, I definitely describe it that way.
Now, guys, this was the end of the team's point streak. You end up losing to London on Friday, which we'll see in a little bit. After an 8-game losing streak, what do you guys feel changed, or maybe some contributive aspects that immediately went to a lengthy point streak? I think, honestly, the longest in the OHL this season.
I think for us, the biggest thing was just staying positive. At the end of the day, I know that sounds a little simple, but when you get into, a 6 or 7 or 8 game losing streak, it's hard to go out there and play your best knowing that, this could be game 7 of a losing streak, or it could be game 9 of a losing streak. So I think that's honestly the biggest thing. And when you have, you start racking up all these points consecutively, it gets a little bit easier because everyone's playing with a lot more confidence. And they know that, we've scored 5 goals in the 5th period. So if it is 0-0, like it was against Sarnia, our guys, I think, are comfortable enough to put up, however many goals it is in a period.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Nick there. Like the guys are staying positive. Our coach made this little playoff series, the very next game. So we started rolling from there, like everyone bought in, and we just kept on getting points. So really,
we only have a few minutes before we go for break, so we'll start the quiz after we throw out the trivia question. Nick Chenard, like I mentioned, 3 shutouts on the season, 2 of them coming against the Sarnia Sting. Which other OHL team did he shut out this season? You can win yourself a pair of tickets to Saturday night's game against the Windsor Spitfires. Like I mentioned, before we start the quiz, what are some of your personal superstition and ones you have with teammates as well?
I think for me, it's not really a thing of superstition. I think it's more so just ritual or habit at this point. I like to take my stick at a certain time. I'll play a little catch with myself at a certain time, things like that. And I think with teammates, it's a little harder because you're trying to coordinate with each other. But a big thing for me on the bus is I have to win a level of Candy Crush before I can get off the bus. So I know it's a little weird one, but that's just me personally. So, sometimes I'll be sitting on the bus and no one will be on there, and I'll be, buying extra lives or whatever it is. So, that's definitely a weird one.
I wouldn't describe myself as very superstitious. I have these routines I like to go through, but I like do some hand-eye coordination, physical warm-ups and stuff like that. But I like to feel the energy around the guys and just be loose before the game.
Like I mentioned, before we start the quiz, we'll have plenty more on the other side of the break. We'll start the quiz here in a second. Just want to throw out the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds have opened the scoring against the Saginaw Spirit. Rory Cairns has scored his 39th goal of the season. It's a big game for standings for the Owen Sound Attack. So currently the Sioux Greyhounds lead 1-0. We'll throw it to the first few questions of the quiz before we go to break.
So like Zach mentions, it's time for the quiz. Now, Nick might have a little advantage on the quiz as he's done a few of my quizzes back in the day when he was in grade 8. So, but Corbin, I think you'll match up well here. So we'll start off with the first questions. In 17 games in Nick's major midget season playing with the Windsor Junior Spitfires, he recorded how many shutouts in 17 games? How much?
4? Is 4 a good number?
That's a good number, but it was only 2.
Yeah.
So, and then same question to you, Nick. In Corbin's minor midget season playing for the Quinte Red Devils, he recorded how many shutouts in 18 games?
I'm going to go with 3.
He's better than that, man. He had 5 shutouts.
Really?
Played on a good team.
Played on a good team. That's it. Last question here before we go to break. It's to the both of you. Which former attack goaltender holds the record for wins all time?
Oh, geez. Where did I see this? It's not Nivy or Benner, I don't think. Is it Niv? I feel like it might be Niv.
So Nick's going with Michael McNiven, and Corbin, you're going with?
Bennington.
The answer is Jordan Binnington with 86 wins.
We'll cut it off there, and then we'll finish off the quiz here on the other side of the break on Attack Wrap on Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
On BBC First, we bring you all the most proper British television.
We're through!
We're respectful.
Those glasses don't buy themselves.
Dignified.
Don't be absurd.
And have all the most intelligent characters.
Oh, she's stuck on me. Shh.
So learn something to chat about at tea.
What was the question again?
Or settle in for a classic mystery.
Couldn't be. Could it?
Don't mention the unsolved ones.
For your favourite British programmes, always come to BBC First.
Behind us here is just absolutely gorgeous. We've got this large pond behind us with a little bit of flooding on the trail. Is this normal for this property?
Yeah, so unfortunately the property does flood a little bit in the fall and in the spring, but the best time to come out and visit it is during the summer, midsummer. You get a great view of this wetland behind us, lots of songbirds in the spring,
Nice.
and lots of wildlife to see. So it's a great property to come out and do some bird watching and check out some wildlife.
Hi, I'm Gavin Bryant, centerman with the Ohl Sound Attack. Catch great OHL action on Rogers TV as we bring you Ohl Sound Attack games live, both home and away.
Welcome back to Attack Wrap. Zach Scribner and Adrien Mousseau, joined by the netminders of the Ohl Sound Attack, Corbin, Votary, and Nick Chenard. Guys, we'll resume the class. Back to the quiz for the final half.
So the next question, Corbin, actually, we'll recap. Corbin is 1 for 2, and Nick is 0 for 2. In the history of the Ohl Sound organization, Platers and Attack, 55 goalies have stepped foot into the blue crease. Corbin, where does Nick rank in Ohl Sound history when it comes to shutouts?
4th.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. A winner, Gagnon. Yeah.
Actually 4th?
He's 4th behind Michael McNiven, Jordan Binnington, and Matt Guzda in a tie with Dan LaCosta and Curtis Stanford. Some pretty big names there. A lot of them have played games or have been signed by an NHL team. Nick, in the 2020 draft, Corbin was chosen 80th overall in the 4th round. How many goalies were chosen before him?
I think it was 3.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Kyle Downey of Windsor, Nolan Malone of Erie, and Jackson Parsons of Kitchener were all taken before Corbin. All right, Corbin in Nick's OHL draft, he was chosen in the 6th round, 108th overall, the 12th goaltender picked. Of the 12 goalies, how many have more wins in the OHL this season than Nick?
Gonna say 2.
You're hot tonight. There's only 2 that were chosen before him, or 2 that were chosen before him that have more wins. Marco Constantini of Hamilton has 26 wins, and Jove Rebtic of North Bay has 24, and Nick currently has 22 wins. And Nick, last question goes to you. Who was the next goalie picked in the draft?
In my draft?
In your draft year. Who's
Brett Brochu.
Brett Brochu, that is correct. And he currently has 29 wins on the season. So all in all, guys, you guys started off a little slow, but picked it up at the end. Nick, you're used to getting C's in my class. So I'll give you a B+ in this one. And Corbin, you'll get an A-. So that does it for another edition of the quiz. Thanks for participating, guys. We're going to throw it now to the London highlights from Friday night at Budweiser Gardens.
Burrows will gain the center ice area. Bryant tabs it back to Burrows on the dime, looking for a player out front. And a shot, they score right off the hop. And the Ohl Sound Attack take a 1-0 lead. Morgan back for McGurn. McSorley will park himself right in front of the net. Quick shot, they score! And the Knights tie it up. Morgan. Or we'll leave it there for Stranges. Stranges with that highlight reel goal last Friday night here. Trying to do it again. Stranges shoots. He scores! And center ice, right side. Now 2-on-1 possibly. Adrien, loose, in front, score! Montgomery wants it up top. He'll hanker in the slot, center pass, they score! Look at McSorley again, right in the bumper position. Oh, here's a quick shot right on, rebound, they score in front of the net. Back to the line, quick shot, front of the net, McSorley scores! Goalie, hat-trick. Gasses off, shoots, scores! Gasses off. Off the draw, played back to the blue line. Shot, score! Tipped in front of the net, and Owen Sound puts one up on the board. By Wilmore, back to the line. Broken stick there up top in the slot area. Another quick shot, they score! And Bryant, I believe, got that one over the shoulder of Wilmore. Pass, and Tim with the head up will get it out through to the line.
A 7-3 loss to the London Knights last Friday at Budweiser Gardens, now 0-9 against the London Knights this year for the Owen Sound attack. Nick, things have been going very well as of late for you guys. We mentioned the 13-game point streak. You guys strike early with a Nick Porco goal. When that went in, did you guys feel like this could be the one you steal from them at Budweiser Gardens?
I think for sure. Like, I think there was obviously with how hot we were going into that game and knowing, they didn't have Broche, definitely gave us a little bit more confidence than we'd normally have. But I think at the end of the day, it is London. And they're going to have a good team. And they're going to have their all-stars and Stranges and Evangelista. So I think you can't really look past them no matter who's out of their lineup, because I feel like they're always going to have someone that steps up. So I think honestly, it was a pretty strong lineup on our side and theirs. And obviously their goalie played pretty good. So got to give kudos to him there.
Now, Corbin, one more regular season game against them this year. What does it take to beat the team from the Forest City?
The London Knights?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're a pretty offensive heavy team. They have some great players, but I think we just have to stick with our systems. Our coaches come up with some great plans to in the D zone, just really cover them up, I guess. But I think we just have to follow that and stick with our game plan.
Just one more question for you guys before we go to Saturday's highlights. I mentioned earlier on it's a close race in the Western Conference standings. It appears you guys are going to get the Sioux Greyhounds or Flint in round number 1. Corbin will start out with the Flint Firebirds. You guys were 3-1 against them this year. What would it take to be victorious over the Firebirds in a 7-game series?
Yeah, again, stick with our game plan. Obviously these teams are pretty good, both in the offensive and defensive zone. But I think we have what it takes to beat these teams. So I think we have a great group going forward.
Nick, same for you. 1-3 versus the Sioux this year. They have all the talent up front. They have NHL prospects on the back end as well. If that's the matchup, what are some keys to victories to beat the Sioux Greyhounds?
I think it's just going to be playing a pretty physical game, which our team can very well do, and we've seen it many times with that one win against them at home. So I think that'll be a big key, is just to stick to our plan and our our plays, and just play a really physical game. Just kind of tire them out of the Bayshore.
Like I mentioned, the Owen Sound attack saw the Sarnia Sting lots last week. Let's throw the Saturday's highlights at the Bayshore.
Sound quickly turns it back in. Petrovsky, though, gets shut down. And here goes Burke shorthanded. Burke trying to dance around Chibrikov. He beats him, might get a shot off. He does. Middle over to Barlow. Barlow gets it back to Seed. Seed across to Mark Woolley. Woolley's shot was blocked. Comes to the near boards, and another chance for the Sting to get it out. Ritchie, though, makes a great pass up to Sikic. He's denied. Rebound, scores! Short-handed goal for the Sarnia Sting. Bryant stops up at the blue line, dishes it across, finds Gore, down low for Steen. Steen's being closely marked. He sends it towards the net. Out in front, Porco can step into one. What a glove save! Flashing the leather with the flashy save. Keeps his team in front 1-0. Here is Romeo on the backhand. Picked off, back to the blue line. Ewens, wrist shot, scores! Cal Ewens from the point gets the attack on the board. Ryan on the half wall. Here's Nolan Seed, wrist shot, trying to get it through the traffic. Portakalis gonna tuck it home. William Portakalis in tight. Powering to the goal. Up into the air goes the puck. Knocked down here by Romeo. Lesage will jump on it. Backhand shot. He scores! Logan Less 2-0, but a good play by Hill broke it up. However, Barlow's got a step. Colby Barlow, backhand pass across, scores! Cedric Guindon finishes it off, and the Attack lead by 3. Defeat the Sarnia Sting 4-1. There's win number 30.
The second victory for the Owen Sound Attack over the Sarnia Sting that past week, 4-1. Versus Anson Thornton. Nick, first off, he made some incredible saves that Saturday night. Some of them were unbelievable. Do you find yourself appreciating some of the flashy glove saves at the other end of the ice, being a goaltender yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's hard because, you want those goals to go in. But at the end of the day, it is good seeing, a goalie make some pretty good saves. So yeah, I think it's just, I think it's more so of a respect thing when you see a goalie like that come in and make some good saves. So, yeah, you just want him to go in. So,
you guys did find some success in the second period. A 26-shot second period led to 3 goals. What was the message from the coaching staff in the break after allowing that shorthanded goal in the first period?
I think it was honestly just that, we've beaten them before. We can obviously beat them because we've shown we can in the past. And I think just to keep getting shots on net because something's bound to go in, whether it's, a dirty goal out front or a good, a nasty snipe. So I think that was the biggest thing.
It was Hockey Fights Cancer night at the Bayshore on Saturday night, and you guys had special jerseys for the evening. This is the second time that the Attack wears special custom jerseys. Willie's Warriors night, of course, was the first time. Now, Corbin, I'll start with you, and then Nick, you can have your answer after that. 2 questions for both of you guys. First of all, did you enjoy the jersey?
Yeah, I think the jerseys turned out really good. I think they look incredible. And it's obviously a special event, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, and I think it's the same for me. Like anytime we get special jerseys, it's something different. So I think, for the most part, our front office does a pretty good job designing those and, putting together something that we want to wear and that we like wearing. So it makes it even more special when it's for a night like that.
Now, my second question is that jersey was pretty eye-popping. Is it hard for a goalie when the jerseys are different in front of you? Does that do anything to your eye, to your sight, to your vision, anything like that, Corbin?
No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, you get used to it pretty quick. Like, you see them in warm-ups, you see them like it's just you know what's in front of you, and so I guess that's just it.
Want to throw out a big congratulations to Joseph Gamble. He knew that Nick Chenard's the other team that he shut out was the Saginaw Spirit. And before we go into these final 2 questions before the last highlight pack, this is something I got thinking about throughout the day here. Nick Chenard shut out the Sarnia Sting last week 5-0, and then we confirmed it over the break. The other 2 shutouts were also 5-0. And Nick, there's another stat that goes along with it. This is quite the story that you've developed here this year.
Yeah. The other stat that goes with it is there's been 27 shots in all 3 of those games. So it's a little bit of a coincidence, at least I think, but I think it's also maybe a little bit of a sign. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
1 shutout on the road and 2 at home for the Attack netminder. Guys, next question for you before we go into the final highlight pack. Forwards and defensemen can set personal goals, whether it be a point total or goals scored. As the goaltenders, what were some of the goals at the beginning of the season that you wanted to achieve yourselves?
I think for me, the biggest that I set out for myself is staying above 9 and below 3. So those were, the 2 biggest that I wanted for myself, which can at times be a little hard not knowing, how your team in front of you is going to be, because we did have such a young group at the start. But now I think, having a line full of rookies is one of our top lines. So I think in that aspect, it's been great. And I think we're right around that benchmark. So I'm not too upset about that.
Yeah, it's my first year in the league, so I'm a rookie. But, I just wanted to prove myself to know I can be here. And as time goes on, your goals change. Right now I'm just preparing for the future. I'm working on rebound control and just really slowing the game down.
It was the final game for the week for the Owen Sound Attack Sunday, a road game to Sarnia. Let's take a look at the highlights from Sunday's win against the Sting.
Just me, but it seems like every other face-off there's somebody being tossed.
It does seem to happen a lot as they score. Colby Barlow, the rookie, right along the ice, scores his 28th goal of the season, and 2:46 into the opening period, the Attack opened the scoring. Smalley even back there for it. Steen steps up here for the Attack, back to Boniuto, right in front of the net, scores! What? Any icing call. Votary leaves it behind the net. 7 gone here in the second period. Lesage skates down the left wing side. Lesage with a chance, blocked away. Rebound, scores! Lorenzo Boniuto follows up on the rebound. He scores for the Owen Sound Attack, and they open up a 3-0 lead for Boniuto. Goal.
5-minute interference major against Nolan Dam.
Right off the draw, rolls in, it's in! Nolan Burke and Nemesnikov were right there. Hard pass behind the net, picked up by Voigt. Out in front, Sikic drops it off. Degursey chance, he scores! Degursey, one of the goal scorers for Sarnia, digging in there now. Degursey. Push back towards the blue line. Now his shot scores! No. Now it's turned over. Gaindon breaks in shorthanded. Here's Gaindon with a chance. Stopped, rebound, it's in. It snuck in behind Thornton, so a shorthanded goal. Cedric Gaindon breaks in. The Sting cough it up. Gaindon scores on the breakaway. So here we go. 39 seconds to go. Tie up off the draw. Chibrikov comes away with it. Chibrikov skates it. Hands it to Makacek. Open net in front of him, and he scores.
The Owen Sound Attack complete a 3-game week sweep of the Sarnia Sting with a 5-3 road win versus Sarnia. Now, Nick had plenty of opportunity to play Candy Crush on Sunday. Corbin, previously this year, we heard the bus broke down in Guelph, causing a delay to go home. Now, Sunday morning was a different situation in its entirety. With Highway 21 closed at points, your bus got stuck on the road. Knowing you were getting the start, what was going through your head when all this was going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time this happened. We've been late for a game before, but you just got to do what you do at the rink. Try and get your things done on the bus. Like, I mean, you obviously can't do the physical type of things, but you can just mentally prepare. I think that's what I did best. Just get ready for the game that way.
You guys were definitely ready for the game. It seemed the boys got off to a quick start, 3-0 lead early. It must have settled the nerves down when you see the guys get off to a hot start.
Yeah, it was really good. It gives me a lot of confidence when the team's playing that good in front of you. So.
Nick, how nice was it to have a day off and have Corbin come in, rack up the wins? What are your thoughts on your goaltenders partners game as of late?
No, I think it's been really good. Just knowing, that I can rely on him and it, it's not going to be an issue if he starts. So I think that's been something that, honestly, you look for in a goalie partner, just knowing that you can trust them and hopefully they can trust you. It's been really good.
Now, guys, it's time for everybody's favorite game show. It's time for another edition of What's in the Hat. Got my questions. They're all new questions since the last time you guys were on. We'll start with Corbin and then we'll go to Nick. Just one word, whatever fast thing that comes to your head, right?
Right.
All right, first question. Best nickname on the team?
Steener.
Nick?
I don't know. I think Steener's other nickname, which is Red, is a pretty good one too.
Next question. Favorite sport other than hockey?
I like golf.
Yeah, I'd have to go either golf or basketball.
At 6'5", it must help in basketball.
Yeah.
Next question. Favorite goalie to play against?
I don't know. I think playing that one game against Brett Brochu was pretty cool. You know, knowing that he's a pretty good goaltender.
I think for me, it was playing against Nico Dawes last year when he played for Guelph. So that was a pretty big one. Same thing with Angum too. When I played against him.
Yeah. Best and worst chirper on the team.
Well, for worst, I'll go with Seti. No, I mean he's French, but anyway, that's beside the point. But the best, I'd have to give it to probably Cedar, Nolan Seed.
Now, we've already got both those answers before with Seti and Cedar being the best, so there's a common theme coming here.
I'd have to go with the same worst chirper, but I think the best chirper is Seds, just because he thinks of so many things off the cuff, and it's just hard not to laugh sometimes.
All right, 2 more questions here. Favorite subject in school?
Does gym count?
Other than phys ed.
All right. I like business.
I like lunchtime. No, but I think my favorite is probably like either English or French were my favorite classes growing up.
All right. And then last question. Oh, keeping on that same train. Who's your favorite teacher?
I like Sarah. Sarah Rouse, pretty nice.
One of my teachers back home, Mr. Moran, was my history teacher, and he was a pretty good one. So I'll have to give it to him.
I thought you were gonna see me for a second there when I shot on you in grade 8, but
no.
Another one bites the dust, I guess.
Here we go. Another edition of Attack Wrap, or What's in the Hat. Sorry. Now, guys, now that you both played a few games in the OHL, who's one team you both enjoy playing against?
I think for me, I think Windsor's been a fun team to play against this year and pre-COVID, just because whether it's in our barn or in their barn, playing against your hometown team is something pretty special. So I'll have to give it to Windsor.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just Saginaw. My first win in the OHL came from them, and the latest game I played against them was, my very first shootout. So that was pretty cool. And, it's always a fun game playing against them.
Nick, a 2-part question for you. You're an OHL Goaltender of the Week honors a few weeks ago. You honestly could have had it in back-to-back weeks. How did it feel to get recognized by the league in your play for those 3 games there? No,
it was good for sure. I think it's a pretty big accomplishment. But at the end of the day, I think OHL Goalie of the Month is up next, which is something that a goal that I've set for myself. And hopefully OHL Goalie of the Year soon after that. So we'll see what happens.
Second part of the question, you were on a 10-game starting stretch earlier on in the season. How do you prepare to start 10 games in a row and stay healthy after all 10 especially?
I think a lot of it had to do with, how I was recovering, whether it was if I needed more sleep or, maybe a little bit more time in the gym working on some mobility or stretches and stuff like that, or whether it was in, our athletic therapist's office or whatever it was. So I think it was just taking care of my body and responding to what it needed.
Now, guys, when you look at the schedule ahead, you have home games against Windsor, against Barrie, and 2 against Kitchener. And then you have 2 road games left, 1 at the Sleeman Center on Friday night, and then 1 at Budweiser Gardens the Friday that follows. It could be a challenging challenge. They could all be challenging games, but what are you guys looking most for about these games?
I think for us as a team, it's going to come down more to where we finish. because these next six, 7, and 8 games are really determining, who we play in the first round, if we get home ice advantage, how far our travel will be. So I think it's, they're going to be big games, not only to determine, who we play, but if we get home ice.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Nick. But these games are huge, big points to know where we place, and plus getting some points here down the stretch is going to give us lots of confidence heading into playoffs.
Now, what might be some differences you guys have noticed in both your games since season started?
For me, the first few games I played, I feel like I've just been all over the place. As of late, I've tried to slow things down and be more in control. So I find that's one of the biggest differences for me.
Yeah, I think for me, it was just, getting back to the OHL pace of play coming off of COVID and off an injury at the start of the season. So that kind of put me behind the 8 ball a little bit. But I think, as of late, I've been good at following, I guess, the speed of the game and recognizing a threat when there's a threat.
Nick mentioned the possibility of home ice for the Owen Sound attack. Mitchell Smith of the Saginaw Spirit has tied the game with the Sioux Greyhounds. They're tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. Follow along. It could be a big outcome for the Owen Sound attack. They could end up getting home ice advantage out of it. Guys, last question for you. Corbin, you alluded to it earlier, and we'll end the show on this. You mentioned the playoff series mentality that was started just as the winning streak began. You can start out and then Nick following. Do you guys feel it turn around the second half of the season for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think just everyone bought in knowing that it's a series. Obviously, knowing that's playoffs, we just, we wanted to do well. And like everyone did the right things, stuck with the good habits, and, we just had success.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is not only us, but the whole league kind of takes a jump after the Christmas break. And then another bigger jump once playoff comes around. So I think for us to already get into that mentality of it being a playoff series gives us not only the confidence, but the, I guess, mental ability to recognize, it is a playoff game and this is, this is it. So nothing to save it for.
1 minute left on the show, and we'll continue on with that theme. What excites you both for your first OHL playoff series of your career?
I think for me, it's just the, I guess, ability or possibility to play, in front of hopefully even bigger crowds, louder crowds, and, to finally, get that elimination feel like, if it is a win, you get something in return for it. So I think that's the biggest thing, and it'll be a big motivator.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be huge for our team. It's going to be a great experience, getting my first playoff experience, but I think it'll just be good for our team in general moving forward.
Guys, a big thank you to both. It was a fun episode. Really good to see and hear the explanation of the mass. Corbin Votary and Nick Chenard of the Owen Sound Attack. Join us next week. We'll have Denny Gore and Nick Seed here on Nolan Seed here on Attack Wrap on Rogers TV.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
Yo. Yep. Okay, I'll be there.
Calling all journalism students, Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
When I found out that I